Well, good morning and welcome to Zen Fits or Strange Conceits. Speaking to you from Blackstone, Virginia, the center of the world, and where a walnut tree grows. Let's talk about nuts. I say nuts. And here's what we're talking about. A walnut. Now, walnuts are very hard. Here we go. And we have a squirrel here who cuts the walnuts like a surgeon. The rest of the squirrels just chew them up. Somebody out there, and I found it, I'm not kidding you, I found a whole bunch of them on a table and got a bag of them. So anyway, apparently we have evolved a very intelligent squirrel here. And so I wanted to talk about nuts today, and there's several stories before I get into the meat of it. Looking back into when I was fresh married, I think we were going to a craft show along the Delaware River, forgot what it was. And there was a couple of guys there who made walnut coffee tables out of slabs of walnut. Oh, they were like, I was just amazed at how deep and beautiful these walnut coffee tables were. And I asked, oh, how do you get started in this? And the craftsman fella looked with these calm, deep walnut eyes, looked at me and said, well, first you find a walnut tree. And there was a long pause. And then you let it cure for 5 years. So I kind of like, oh, okay. But anyway, this was kind of like I got to find a walnut tree. And back in the 70s, we were going to buy some property out in the woods at Amelia, and it was miles from the nearest telephone pole. And so, but it had a walnut tree on it. And so, yeah, that's my walnut tree. So we put a trailer on it. We were going to live on it until we could build. But we hadn't closed on the property. We came back one night and the owner had come out and cut that walnut tree down. They cut down the walnut tree. So we left, never closed on it. Where is my walnut tree? So when we came to Blackstone, finally we moved into the house my wife grew up in, her mother's house. There was a walnut tree in the backyard, this walnut tree. And I tried to, I was very unhappy in Blackstone because I couldn't find any work. So, but I did write a story about gathering nuts in the backyard, and the Courier printed it. And then when I applied for a job, apparently the editor knew I could write about nuts, so he gave me a job. So I stayed, and so here I am. I have a walnut tree, and now I'm talking about walnuts. And I just remembered this, as I was walking to the camera to do this, I remembered the story of the Battle of the Bulge. And the Germans had trapped this battalion, and they said, you might as well give up, you're cooked. And the American commander sent back one word, nuts. And the Germans go, what nuts? What do you mean nuts? Nuts. So I'm writing about nuts, talking about nuts today. Now this is very interesting, and I've been writing about it, so I'll print this on my talk. But what is the one? You know, Zen. There's a Zen. My favorite Zen story is Goethe's finger. And whenever anybody asked what Zen was to Goethe, he was a Zen master. He said, one. And he had an assistant who kind of puffed up, assistant of the master. And what does Goethe mean by? What does he mean by Zen? And the assistant. One. And when Goethe saw him do that, he ran over and cut it off. And the assistant went screaming, "You cut my finger off!" What? And Gute went, and the assistant was enlightened. Well, don't get stuck on the gruesomeness of it. It's a Zen story. What is the one? That's the question. What is Gute's finger? Why is Gute's finger different from the assistant's? Why did he cut off the finger of the assistant? What is Gute's one? What is the one walnut? Here, is it this one? Or is it this one? Now you can get in a walnut war. What is the one? That's the question. That's the universal question. That's the Shakespeare question. That's God's question. Old Yahweh. Yahweh in the Bible is the one God. Don't have any other nuts before him. The one. So you got to find the one. Who's the one? What's the one? Where is it? We know it's there because the universe is not two, or you're schizophrenic. You see? What's the one? But we can't find it because everything's divided into two. But we know the one's there. We got to find it. What's the one? I got the one. No, I got the one. I'm number one. No, I'm number one. Sports, art, everything, politics. I'm number one, but it's only temporary. You just won for a few minutes, a few days, a few years, a decade. But that finger is always going to be cut off. No matter how strong and powerful your one is, it's going to get cut off. So what's the one? What is the one, you see? And that's the Zen finger. The Zen finger, all right. The Zen finger, metaphorically speaking now, points to the one that cannot be seen. So the one is upstream of the two. So you have to leap for it. You have to drop your attachment to, this is number one. No, this is number one. You have to drop your attachment to your one in order to become the one that is two. But the one that is two is upstream. That's a good one. I got this word from Albert Lowe, the Zen master. Upstream. It's kind of like when you are trying to learn how to balance on a bicycle. Now suppose you're balancing on a bicycle and you're on a mountain bike, and the terrain is changing very fast, but you have to maintain your balance. What are you balancing on? Are you balancing on the moment you're in because you're moving so fast? If you balanced on the moment you're in, you'd fall off because the bike has moved to another moment. So when we balance, we're balancing upstream of the moment. You're balancing on the next moment. Otherwise, you'd fall off. So you're dynamically creating balance as you move in a changing world. A surfer, anybody who balances, although you can't really, you can see that happening, you kind of like discover balance. You discover your feet. You discover your equilibrium. But where is that equilibrium, you see? Where is the one? You can't, if you balance on this, you fall off. If you balance on this, you fall off, you see? The balance is upstream, is the whole that is upstream of the division, you see. So it's being created by letting go of the two. So we discover balance by letting go of balance. That's the trick. We discover balance by letting go of the moment that is two. See, the moment is always two. What is the two? Well, there's you and it. You and it, that's two. Everything you perceive is an it, but then there's you. I, it. I and it, you see. I sees it. And then I wants to find the one. But the it never includes the I, you see. I want to find the one walnut. And so I get into a fight with everybody over it. Oh, it's this, it. No, it's that, it's this. Yada, yada, tweedledum, tweedledee. What's left out? The I is left out. The knowing is left out. So to leap and find the one, that is two, you have to let go of the I and the it and become I know. I know is the one before the it that is known, because the it that is known is always two. I, this and that, you see. Did you all follow me here? That's the Zen finger. The Zen finger points. But don't get confused with the fingernail. That's what everybody does. The Zen finger points, and everybody says, you need to trim your fingernail. You see. Or the finger's too thin, it's too big. Get stuck on the facts. You get stuck on this, and you leave out that, you see. Anyway, thanks for dropping in. See you next time.